District two,
She's online.
District three, District four, absent. District five,
Present.
District six, present. District seven, vacant. District eight, District nine,
Not present.
District 10, absent. District 11, District 12, District 13, present. District 14, and place 15.
I'm here. Thank you very much. Seeing we have a quorum. Good morning, Commissioners. Today is Thursday, July 20th, exactly 9 a.m. Welcome to the Dallas City Planning Commission briefing. As always, Commissioners, just a time for Commissioners to ask questions of staff. We'll leave all our comments and concerns for the portion this afternoon. And we're going to get started in the briefing, beginning with case number 1, miscellaneous items. Smallman, good morning. Good morning, sir.
You want to think on item one, this brief last.
It was already, that's right. Commissioner, we brief item number 1. Is there any questions on that item? We briefed it before. You like it briefed again, Commissioner Kinston?
This is the development plan? Yes. Sorry, it's still loading.
Oh, no, it's,
I don't need to read it.
okay. Any questions on that item, Commissioner? Okay. Let's brief item number 2 and 4 together.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'll start with case M 223-008. The request is for a minor amendment to PD 553 sub-area A development plan. It is around 40 acres and it's in Council District 13. The property is located on the east corner of Preston Road, in Market Lane. A request to amend the development plan to show the footprint of the existing building and to add a temporary lot. Here's an area view of the property and surrounding zoning districts. To the northwest, we have CR along the west corridor, all the way to the south, we have a TH1 and then a R16. And then over to the east, we have R16, and then over down south, we have R10. Here's the conceptual plan. I believe it was amended in 2021 to subdivide the property into 2 sub-areas. We'll talk about that in the second case. Here's the existing development plan. Here's an enlargement of the existing development plan. Here's the proposed development plan. Here's the enlargement actually showing the area request. Over to the west, we see the building that was dashed previously in the development plan is now showing the footprint, and then the locker room over here to the east, or the southeast. Here is the existing TMP plan. I did talk to transportation and they're in good standing. Staff recommendation is approval.
Thank you. Questions? Bye. Okay, any questions on this item? No questions. Thank you. Thumbs up.
Should I ask questions if something is?
Actually, that was just a question, wasn't it? Should I? Yes, she can be remote. Reese.
Okay, the second case of this property is D 223-003. A request to create a new development plan for PD 553 sub-area B. As I stated earlier, the conceptual plan was subdivided into 2 sub-areas on 422-21. It's around 40 acres in Council District 13 is located in. The property is located on the east corner of Preston Road and Market Lane. So the request is a new development plan to depict with a new athletic center that's around 80,000 square feet, 2 levels and a height of 40 feet. So tennis court pavilion that's around 2,000 square feet and a height of 22 feet. Reconfiguration of parking, it's new parking, and to show the new fire lane. Here's the property that I stated earlier that has, surrounding zoning districts. Here's the conceptual plan. We're gonna look at the top portion of the property with sub area B. Here is the proposed development plan, the north side that's not shaded. We go to the enlargement. Here's the enlargement plan right here. Kind of center, you can see the parking where sub area A is laid out, that reconfiguration of the parking. Northwest, there's tennis courts, and then also the little dash. Get my mouth together. Well, let's say right to the west of the tennis courts is the pavilion, that they're proposing. And then right here, east of the property, you can see the athletic center. Here's the existing TMP, it's in good standing. Staff recommendation approval. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much. Questions? No questions. We'll move on to the next item. Before we do so, let the record reflect that Commissioner Todd and Blair joined us at 9:05 a.m. Good morning.
Alright, next item is M 223-014. It is a request for a minor amendment to an existing HEP site plan. It's for open enrollment charter school. It is located in PB 487, sub area A. It also has an SUP on it, 24.3. It's around 5 acres, the request, and it's in Council District 1. This property is located northeast corner of North Oak Street and West 9th Street. So here's some details for the request. The applicant is requesting to add to the classroom and a tornado shelter, around 4,800 square feet. That's gonna be 2 stories. A cafeteria and kitchen addition around 8,300. That's gonna be 1 story. Also, they're adding ADA ramps and stairs at the entrances. They're gonna extend the parking area along the east of the property. They're gonna show a new parking lot along the southwest of the property. They're gonna extend the drop-off lane from 12 feet to 24. And they're gonna show existing playground. Here's the area view of the property. North, we have PD 830. To the west, we have R5 and then a CH. Down south, we have PD 487. Along the east boundaries, we have PD 830 and then an MF2 south. Here's the existing SUP site plan. Here's the area request highlighted here. Here's the proposed site plan. Here's the area request highlighted here. You can see the cafeteria over here to the west, and then the classroom and the storm shelter kind of center north of the property. Along the east boundary, you can see where they reconfigured the parking and then added the 2 lanes for the drop-off lane. Southwest, you can see the parking lot, and then adjacent to that is the playground that they're adding to the property, or to the HQ site. Here's the TMP, traffic management plan. I did talk to transportation, it's good standing. Staff recommendation approval. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much. Questions, Commissioners? Commissioner Sanders, please.
Yes. I don't have, I'm going to take difficulties. I think this is the right case I'm talking about. The only thing I was confused about was the fact that the chain link fences were 4 feet. I mean, is that normal for children's playgrounds to be 4 feet? That didn't seem, I thought it would have been 6 feet.
It's really in the station, I don't see 4 feet. That's why it's showing at 4 feet. So the conditions are really.
Oh, okay. It just seems like our chain link would kind of over 4 feet easily.
Yes, ma'am.
As opposed to 6 feet. Okay.
Yes, true.
Well, it's a minimum of 4 feet for the SUP conditions, right?
Yes,
Oh, so they can.
they can go as high as they want to, but
Oh, good.
usually people stay with minimum.
Okay.
Excellent. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. I think that takes us to our zoning case, consent. Case number 1, from Calendar Advice. Mr. Kingston, you have the date on that one? Is that to the 3rd or the 2nd meeting in office?
I was gonna list you the first day in September.
September.
7.
9/7? Here. We put that as case number 6.
Oh.
Thank you.
Is it 7? Is it 7?
Number 6.
She's having a wonderful time. People there.
All right, good morning, commissioners. I hope everyone can hear me from, okay, back here.
Good morning.
First case I have for you today is C 212-312. The request is for an expansion of Plan Development District number 761, the Dallas Logistics Port Special Purpose District, on property zoned in AA Agricultural District. It's located at the northwest corner of Lancaster Hutchins Road and Witts Road. It's about 20.28 acres. Location map showing the property in city limits. It's in far southeast sector of the city, right along city limits. Aerial map showing the request area outlined in blue. And zoning map with surrounding districts and land uses. So to the north, zoned ag is undeveloped property. To the east and south is actually outside city limits, is the city of Hutchins. Undeveloped land to the east, what we would call vehicle display sales and service use, to the south. And then to the west is Pizza and 61 with undeveloped property. So the area request is currently zoned in ag district and it's undeveloped. The applicant proposes to rezone the site to allow for industrial uses on the property. To do this, they're proposing to expand the boundaries of PD 761 to encompass this site. The property would be rezoned to an LI logistics industrial subdistrict within PD 761. However, they are not proposing any modifications to the existing standards of the subdistrict or the rest of the PD. So this is just an expansion to encompass this one property. So site photos, this is on Witt Road, east southwest. This is further out towards the intersection of Lancaster Junction, Witt Road, east southwest. And looking at the frontage of the property on Lancaster Junction Road. Some more views of that front end. For any uses, this is outside city limits, there is a vehicle sales used here to the south. And then just kind of going in a clockwise direction around that intersection, you can see more impressions to the east. These are the development standards of the existing ag district as well as the proposed zoning for the property. Obviously, they vary pretty significantly. The ag is sort of kind of a placeholder zoning district. Obviously, the maximum height would increase substantially, lot coverage, etc. With that, staff's recommendation is to approval, and I'm available for any questions.
Questions, commissioners?
No.
She said she has questions.
She said, no, that's no.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Walker. Case number 17 has been taken off consent.
So case number 7Z223-138 is a new specific use permit for the sale of holding beverages in conjunction with the general merchandise or food store that's less than 3,500 square feet. It is zoned an RR regional retail district. It has bid restrictions and B1 liquor control overlay. It's on the east line of North Buckner Boulevard, that's north of Chenal Street, and approximately 128 acres in area. It's further east. This is the aerial and the land use map. It has multifamily across and then like a big retail strip, I would say, that has restaurant, retail, personal services. It's a restaurant immediately south. More a combination of these uses and in warehouse a little bit further. So the D1 liquor control overlay is the one that kicks in the need for the SUP for alcohol sales. The deed restrictions were placed in 1984, and it's for, as you can see on the previous slide, the deed restrictions actually encompass the entire corner that's northeast of Buckner and Chenal. To prohibit multifamily require additional landscaping and a wall along the eastern property line. The site used to have an SUP, 1877, but that expired in 2018. They were able to maintain it between 2011 and 2018. The convenience store is under 3,500 square feet, and they do have a CO since 2013. This is, you can see the canopy is a racetrack, gas station, you can see the restaurant.
Advancing.
Oh, it changed online.
It takes a while.
In those pictures, right? So you can see the restaurant that's to the south, and then the retail street to the north, and the gas canopy. This is, okay, it's the pictures for sure. This is a close-up. Again, the gas canopy, the convenience store in the back. It's an existing situation. Along Buckner, and the curb cuts and sidewalks, and I was looking at all of that. This is what's to the north. The retail street, this is the restaurant to the south, and this is the multifamily across. They submitted a better quality site plan. I wanted to make a correction. I sent you an email yesterday. Thank you, Commissioner Carpenter. I was looking in the site data table, but I missed to notice that what's in your docket, it had under lot coverage a required of 80%, and I don't know, it was a little bit of a mistake when they calculated their actual lot coverage, and it was at like 70%. So, they went back and they redid, it is around 20%, I confirmed by my eyeballing calculations as well. So that's the change from.
So you said it is confirmed at about 20%?
Yes. It's, just for everybody's, because I realized that all these gas stations, the canopy counts towards the lot coverage because it's a roof. So it's not just the building. So, that's kind of like how we did it. So the SUP conditions are pretty standard. It's just that the applicants submitted a lot, they did a lot of outreach apparently. They submitted a lot of letters in support, and they requested a specific use permit for a 5-year period. Staff, is pretty normal for us to say when this type of uses, we have 2 years and then 5 years auto renewal, so I kind of like got it back to our normal. Commissioner Young, again, thank you. We confirmed with the applicant that they don't sell alcohol, and they haven't at least since November.
Apparently did so from 2008 until November.
Exactly.
Without the, without the SUP? Did that?
Because for the applicant, I would like let them explain all the change in ownership. They were saying something about the franchise, so I will let them explain. During my site visit, I saw them in the fridges, but they said no, we didn't. We were not selling them, but we didn't take them out. So
Okay, so did you know the expiration date of the alcohol?
I'm sorry. I do side visits, but I'm trying not to like be like an inspector. Like, okay, let me try and buy one of these. Let me look at this. Something bad.
Yeah, did any beer trucks pull up while you were there?
So it's just for the future, it's demonstrating for the future when this got approved, is why it was in the refrigerator. Okay.
And then I also wanted to say, yes, there are a lot of calls on the crime stats and all of that, but keep in mind that I put data from 2011 because that's when they had the last SUP, and that's when we pulled the last, so it's a lot of years. I was looking last night to see, okay, how many calls, how many offenses per year, and this pretty like, it's not, it's under 10 usually. So if it was, like when they go into, renewals and we pull usually data for 3 years or 2 years, like I think it's a little bit even lower than our normal. That's it. So I know again, when you see 1,000 calls, you can keep in mind it's from 2011, so it's a lot of years. So with this, staff recommendation is approval for a 2-year period with eligibility for automatic renewal for additional 5-year period, subject to site plan and conditions as brief, just to like account for that little correction.
Questions, Commissioner Young?
We approved a school somewhere near here, and I'm trying to remember where it was. About a year, 2 years and a half ago, on the same side of Buckner. It may have been a little bit to the north.
On the other side of 30? Other side of
No,
80?
on this side of 30. Yes.
I don't,
Charter, private.
I can look it up and let you know.
Check on the place.
Yes, I asked them for a first SUP or new SUP, we asked them to submit a survey and.
Okay, well, you may or may not be close enough to matter, but
I was looking,
thank you.
yes.
Maybe A1 chocolate. Maybe A1 chocolate. Maybe, I'll look it up.
I can't remember that.
Oh, I can remember.
It was on.
Please.
It was on one-off.
Andrea, this
Yes,
is our first school, it's right off of, for my committee members off of Chenault that we took off of the plan, off of the thoroughfare plan.
So that would be not
So-
too much south of the.
It was just, it would have been east
So,
of this location.
Window.
I believe it says RR on the map.
Now, this was on Buckner.
south, yeah, but Kimberly's saying south of Chenal.
So it's
This is
just,
Chenal.
just east of this location. Because that's Buckner North and South, correct?
Yes.
So this would be this Chenault, which is that,
This one.
that road where your arrow is.
Yeah.
And they're sending that over, I guess it's underneath our lease. So they're just starting from the
It's the
construction.
east side of Buckner. There's
I will surely get up and I will walk you.
kids walking along Buckner to the bus stop.
Yes.
But I don't want to surface road.
Okay, oh, I don't want to put things up.
We'll find it.
Okay.
Mr. Sander.
I was thinking about whether I was gonna ask this or not, but, so I just wanna be clear, so you're saying the last time they had the SUP was 2011?
Well, it was a 2-year plus 5-year automatic renewals, and they kept on the automatic renewals until 2018. So it expired in September 18.
Okay, that was the part I didn't like.
They missed Yes, they missed one of the 5-year.
And so they haven't had one since 2018. is what
No,
you're
I
saying.
couldn't find one and they confirmed it.
So they missed her.
Okay, I got that, but I guess once again, although we're not in the business of punitive, it's kind of like, what's the incentive to get your SUP? If there's nothing that is sort of a little bit punitive, I don't know, I mean, it just brings.
I mean, they're coming back for a full public hearing.
Yeah, that's true.
process.
I guess that's the
Yeah.
peanuts. Okay, I suppose that-
It's not auto.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. And then I have to say, what was interesting to me is, and I'll put this as a question, I have rarely seen letters that were in support.
Okay.
It's not the gas.
It's not- it's not-
They're not selling it.
Joya or something?
Yes.
Commissioner.
Commissioner Hampton, please.
You're on
Mr. Chair, said this, is it correct that there was a good neighbor agreement completed with the surrounding community on this request?
I do not know.
Okay.
We cannot be opposite.
I believe some of the communication that we received indicated that, and just was wondering if that had been shared with staff.
I'm so sorry, I'm aware.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There is a good neighbor agreement with the neighbors, and usually that's between private property owners and we do not. Right.
Any other questions on this item, commissioners?
I would say that looking at the Google Maps, I see an Uplift school and it's way.
No, that's not it.
That's not it, okay, I'll look for more.
3650 North Buckner, I think that may be it.
Any other questions before we move on? Okay, we'll keep moving. Commissioners, case number 8 will be held under advisement to August 3rd. Brief it then. Takes case number 9. Let's table number 9 for a moment to allow Commissioner Blair to come back in and go to number 10. Well, 10's been briefed before, actually.
Yeah, if you want me, I can do, but I can change anything, you can change anything with the request, but it is a refreshing, I
Okay.
Commissioner Sand, please.
I just want to make sure that we all understand this, that this was remanded, however, remanded with no recommendations for any changes. Is that correct?
No, it was just reconsideration, basically, an SUP, no change.
Thank you, Commissioner Sand. Any other questions on this one? Okay, we'll keep going. For the case number 11 for 12. Just a quick note, we're actually going to vote on these in reverse order. We'll vote on 12 first, then 11. Well, queuing that up, just like to say good morning to Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Popkin. And Commissioner Popkin just disappeared, but I thought I saw a gyro there in your hand previously. Can't hear me.
Motion. Thirty-six.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is item twelve, this case, 2223145. And it's related to item 11. So this request is an application for an item in the industrial district. And it specifically is permit for use of forest and potentially compatible from property zone and IR industrial research district. As well as for the applicant who's also volunteered, some inspections. It is located on the east side of Zodiac Lane, south of Royal Lane. It's approximately 2.7209 acres. It's mentioned on the northwest of Dallas, by south of Royal Lane, east of Dental Drive. It is mostly commercial industrial. However, the property does abut a PD develop a multifamily to the north. And then to the east, it's a single family neighborhood. As mentioned, the area is mostly industrial warehousing, office showroom, and multifamily to the north, and single family to the east. The area request is currently developed with a 61,200 square foot vacant structure. The proposed use is only permitted in an IM district with an SUP. There's a portion of the request to consider the zoning district. As mentioned, jurisdictions have been volunteered to prohibit certain uses by the applicant. And as mentioned, this request is related to KZ 22314, which is item 11. This is the tenant, they used to be in location of 144, and they're now moving to this location. And some photos of the site, looking to the northeast, to the north, looking at the northeast, and then you can see here, as mentioned on the east, it is a single family neighborhood. To the southeast, looking east, toward the site, to the north. And then surrounding the uses, to mention it's mostly warehousing. To the southwest, to the looking west, again to the west, and northwest. To the north, as mentioned, there's a development of the family. And again, the family to the northeast. And development standards, so it's going from, they're proposing from IR to IM. So the development standards that are changing, you will see it's the high from 200 to 110. But as mentioned, there's already, it's already developed with the buildings. And then lines comparisons, this is the IR. Going to IM, the ones highlighted in yellow are the actual restrictions that they are volunteered to prohibit. So they're commercial, bus or trail transit, as well as machinery, heavy equipment and truck sales, vehicle or gauge repair, and then under industrial, they're prohibiting gas drilling, gas pipeline, industrial outside, medical infection waste incinerator, metal salvage, mining, municipal waste, organic, compost, outside salvage, and 2 others under the industrial uses.
You forget you're the only one who can see it. It looks like real. Yes, but you're the only one who has youthful eyes.
hopefully we're gonna get some much larger monitors, Commissioner Blair.
Well, okay, they're gonna need to be at least
The size of
eighty-five
the
feet.
wall.
85 feet. The drum, yeah. Yeah. and I didn't- Is that what that says?
Is the parks board gonna give us their leftovers?
They sold it. I went up there to get it. Yeah, something for standard, I went up there to request it and it was gone.
Oh, wow.
It's a true story.
Yeah.
They got rid of them on it, so they had it out there. Oh my gosh.
And then
I went in there, when they were doing the, I told you that.
Under,
When they were doing it, you know, they're finishing up. I saw this beautiful big monitor. I was standing there, oh, that's the old one.
And then,
There's
that's the,
council members, if they want to, those offices, they might think, you know, they just try to review things to go along.
prohibited
Line.
under
They treat themselves really nice.
under return persons books to elements that they're prohibited, which is a commercial motor vehicle and drive-in theater. And then as well as a perfume shop and pawn shop. And then the transportation, they're prohibiting the railroad yard, roundhouse or shops. And then under utility and public service, they're also prohibiting the electrical and marine plant. They refuse transfer station, sanitary landfill, sewage treatment, water treatment plant. And then under wholesale distribution, they're prohibiting auto auction, building rig or temporary storage, contractors maintenance yard, livestock auction, office storage, audit storage and wholesale, sand gravel, and vehicle storage. And then, the applicant did came in yesterday, and they're also prohibiting 2 extra uses under the wholesale, which are dry criminal and the recycling by drug center. That's also an addition that they're prohibiting.
What was the first?
The fried terminal and the recycling,
Terminal, recycling.
And this is a site plan. It's mentioned, it's already an existing one-story warehouse. And then as for site plan, they are proposing to add landscaping to the site plan. So staff is recommending approval for an I in the industrial manufacturing district subject to deed restrictions volunteered by the applicant and to approval of a specific use permit for an industrial and potentially compatible use limited to refining of precious metals for a 2-year period subject to a site plan and conditions.
Commissioner Young.
I'm not familiar with the precious metal refining use. Can you tell what that's about and how that works and what the impact is on surrounding properties?
So as I mentioned, it's gonna be only interior that they are refining, I believe, gold or such as gold, that it's been like recycling and they're just recycling that.
Are there any emissions from the facility?
That they let us know. Not even just to be.
Basically, you're melting gold and silver and platinum or whatever.
Material and where you have, we buy gold and silver, we buy gold and silver.
Okay.
Just take it here and melt it down and turn
Melt
it
it
into
down,
boxes.
it's fine, right?
Whatever.
They have good stuff.
So just following up on that line of questioning, Ms. Garza, you said that they have told us this is how the use work. I assume that means the applicant and their representative with this industrial use moving closer to residentially zoned property and existing, residential uses. what have you done to verify outside of what the applicant has represented to you about how their use works that this is compatible?
I did do the site to visit, but however, right now it's currently not being used, but I did go to the 144 location. It just seems that everything is inside, like the noise that is inside, not outside of the location, which is item 11 currently. That's where they're located at.
And in terms of any potential emissions, you're going based on what the applicant has told you, is that right? Okay.
Any other questions on this? Yes, Commissioner Carter.
Considerable about the deed restrictions, don't the deed restrictions basically restrict out every single other operating use except for this specific use? And it's limited solely to the precious metals. And in addition to those, they've also voluntarily restricted out uses that are allowed by right and IR. In the surrounding areas, we basically cherry picked the uses that would be incompatible around residential. And also, this use is basically moving one block.
Yes,
And it's already been in the neighborhood already for a number of years. I know you were, I did do a site visit, I can, during the comments address. Thank you. And they are volunteering to add landscaping that they would not normally have been required to do because they're not all trained. Thank you, Kurt.
Commissioner Black.
I'm fascinated by this use, and I think that, Vice Chair has some great questions, and I know that, Commissioner Carpenter has done all of her due diligence. We would not expect less from her in this particular field, especially since she makes me do the same amount of due diligence. But my question is, and I probably be a question that may need to go to the applicant, that has there been any type of research done to say that this particular applicant does this applicant do this in any other location within the city of Dallas or even outside of the city of Dallas? Do you know that if they do?
I know.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Commissioner Stanner.
Well, I have sort of the same question or concern, although we all know that Commissioner Carpenter, no one gets in the weeds more than she does. But my question is sort of like, this does bring up environmental issues because we're not used to this use. I mean, if you're smelting, whether it's internally, and obviously they're gonna protect their own business, I'm not saying that, but there's gotta be some sort of ventilation or some sort. And I do think it's important that, do we know in that kind of industry what that emits into the air? I mean,
So we're kind of getting that side of
But we're
yeah, but okay, I would question, I would be the devil's advocate on that and say, but if we have a use like a batch plant, or we have a use of converting an old gas station, we do talk about environment.
But we're considering the land use as it's defined, whether it's a batch plant, which is.
Well, I said, you're considering the
We're
industrial zone.
considering, well, it's a three-part request, we're considering the changes in the zoning district, we're considering the beautiful changes that Commissioner Carpenter outlined. And then we're also considering an SUP for industrial inside, potentially compatible with use, limited to finding precious metals, which is defined in the SUP.
Okay, but we are having to approve the refining of precious metals as part of, I guess I would say, and if this particular industrial location wasn't so close to multi-family, single families, you know, we wouldn't even be proposing this, I mean, quite honestly, but, you know, it's just a question.
Sure.
Any other questions?
I just want to make sure I understand the appropriate scope of the inquiry. You know, if we put in an industrial use and we are talking about its carbon emissions or, you know, sulfur emissions and how they contribute to, you know, the city's overall sulfur emissions, that would be outside our ambit, right? But if we were talking about some sort of emissions and they're potential impact on adjacent property, that's well within our scope of understanding of what we can go into, right? Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioners, let's go back to case number 9.
Do we agree? And
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait,
We're. I was trying to do the second half.
Yeah.
Let's do the second half.
We got.
you go, you go. Got it.
There's 2 cases on this, so the companion piece. Got a little ahead of myself.
So in this case, urban 25 is one moving forms, which is the original location of the seven Jefferson Ave. The application is
Case number one.
this. An application, this is for an application for an IR.
Mr. Chair, we don't
Yes,
see the
yes.
presentation.
Commissioner Hampton?
We don't see the presentation.
It's not up yet. You see it now, Commissioner Hampton? It's coming up? Okay.
So this is an application for an IR industrial research district, a property zoned in IM industrial manufacturing district with 2 restrictions. Z101223, information of SUP number 1861. This unit is located on the west side of Gemini Lane, south of Royal Lane, and north of Burial Lane. So this property is just west of the property from 145 from Gemini Lane. It's a smaller location. So zoning around the area is all IR, with warehousing, office showroom, industrial inside, surrounding area. So in June of 2011, City Council approved an IM industrial manufacturing district subject to the restrictions volunteered by the applicant. And an SUP for an industrial is a potentially incompatible use limited to refining of precious metal for a 5-year period with eligibility for automatic renewals, and they have been renewing. The SUP actually expires in June of 2026. However, the applicant requests to rezone the property back to an IR industrial research district since the current tenant is relocating to a different location for expansion, which is the case related to 145, we just heard. So I'm going to go to the side, looking north, looking west, looking again to the west of the property, to the south, and surrounding uses, it's warehousing around to the northwest, to the north, to the northeast, to the southeast, looking south, southwest of Gemini Lane. And then the standards is going from IM back to IR. And then it's the same thing, like case 145, but now it's going back from industrial manufacturing back to IR industrial research. The staff recommends approval of an IR industrial research district and approval of the termination of the specific use permit number 1861 and approval of termination of existing J restrictions Z101223.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Young.
Would it be a fair summary of this case to say they're putting it back the way it was before they got here?
Erasing all the time, it's pretty simple.
The answer to that was yes. Commissioner Carpenter?
I'll follow up on that. Basically, these 2 cases couple erase the previous entitlements on the current location and move them to the new location 1 block over. And then we added the deed restrictions, supplemental deed restrictions to try to make it any future use even more compatible with the adjacent residential and the existing IR. Correct. Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent summary, Commissioner Sanders.
I couldn't hear down here, we couldn't hear you, but at any rate, so it's what
Basically, the comparative cases is erasing the existing entitlements above IR in the current location and transferring them 1 block to the new location. And then with the additional enhancement that they're adding landscaping, they're also expanding the list of deed restrictions to remove the worst, the most incompatible of the RR uses that could go in by right on any of those lots in there.
But I'm just curious, but given this scenario, that means were they operating at the one that we're taking back to IR? Were they operating the precious metals?
Yes, and everybody's there. And they've been there. They had all.
So they had been, we do know that they were justices.
They're on auto rental system. Any other questions, folks online? Okay, now we'll go back to number 9. Thank you very much for joining us.
All right. This is the Z 212342. This one is located in far southeast Dallas. It's an application for an amendment to PD 512 on the west corner of the East Stark Road, Signal Road, about 100 acres. The purpose of the request is to allow for an addition to the existing high school at Cedarville High School. Here's the aerial view of the property. It's pretty large. It does have the Cedarville High School. Cedarville Middle School is also in the north part. That part is not being heavily modified. So to the northeast, there's single family, there's some multifamily, there's agricultural uses. To the east, there's church and motor vehicle fueling station. And then outside the Cedarville city limit is to the southeast generally. And our single family subdivision, abutting it on the southwest, along the whole southwest border of PD. Undeveloped Creekway, to the west, northwest. And then circling back to the top is single family and church use. And it was established in 1998. It's been amended a few times, accommodate various expansions over the years. And it uses our 1/2 acre as its base. That public school use by right. It also allows a youth and family center by right as accessory use. Those are middle school side things. And there's a second public school on the site in the north corner. There are no proposed changes to the middle school facility. Middle school facility has a separate development plan and traffic management plan. There are no proposed changes to those. The applicant requests approval for addition to the existing public high school with a new development plan, modification of PD condition to enable the expansion. So we'll get on down to the site. This is at Stark, the southmost corner. One of the entry points for vehicles, pedestrians, move along up Stark, then move northwest, and we're looking at the high school from Stark. A little farther up. One of the high school parking areas. Keep on moving northeast. Main driveway, entry point for the high school parking area. There's a lot of trees on the site. It is pretty spread out. 100 acres and all that. Here's Cedarville High School sign up at the corner of Stark and Cedarville. Now right at the corner on Cedarville. Cedarville has a sidewalk, Stark didn't. We move up Cedarville. We're still looking back at the high school facility, which is in south, should be west actually. That's a crow flies. And still looking at the school facility from Cedarville. Moving up, this is the only pedestrian access to the site, which is from Cedarville. There's a long walkway next to the building in Cedarville Road. We move on up, and here's another entry point. Most of these are kind of couplet entry points to the school. Cedarville. Passing that, the way in for the traffic management plan for the northern entry and parking lot, another sign up there. Now it flips all the way back to where we started. So look at the surrounding uses. Subdivision butts the southwest adjacency of this side. Now turn around, we're gonna be looking southish, across Stark. With an upstart, it looked a lot like that, but that's the city of. That's it, Seagull? Yes. And a single family homes, church, gas station, catty corner from this side. It's very washed out. Now I'm should be back on Seagoville moving north up the street. I was single family, that's multifamily that exists today, of single family use. Sort of large lot, single family across Seagoville. So getting on down to the existing development plan, here's how it exists today. And like as we saw it in the photos, of course, it's a large site, it was probably hard to see the school itself, but the plan is accurate to what's on the ground today. So our proposed development plan, let's get down to that. Adds an expansion, kind of shown in dark gray, southeast of the existing facility. They also add an access lane that flows from, the old parking lot in the north to the old parking lot in the south that connects those through a fire lane. And also additional sidewalks on this plan. Pedestrian area, or excuse me, street furniture areas described are located throughout the site that's shown on the development plans. I wish I'd be able to choose exactly what we can houses. And here's a bonus schemes, they're not modifying these are based on the R7, or excuse me, R half acre. And then conditions, I tried to go through each of the major changes to the conditions themselves so that you can see them. Reducing the parking ratio for senior high classrooms in order to accommodate their current parking lots, not having to expand their parking lots, take out trees and additional impervious area, and 6 foot buffer sidewalks, call for in conditions similar to most schools we do on Seagull to start. Clusters of street furniture, as discussed, 4 of them being internal, but adjacent to the access, 1 for Stark, 1 for Seagull along sidewalks. Trees along sidewalks in high school parking areas, similar to what we require in Article 10. The artificial lot, if depending upon how requested, could limit where we're making those improvements. This calls for those improvements to be specifically added to bring it similar to modern Article 10 standard. And specific lighting limits for the athletic fields, very similar to language you've seen recently. As for the traffic management plan, it's here. And zoom in if necessary or come back. But they would basically have their 2 drop-off areas, 1 in the north, 1 in the south. And they account for a degree of busing and walking. Other, as are listed on here, just a contingent of those students as well. A little more detail, I guess. I can turn back if need to. We conducted a consistency review. That will be local area plan. That will be the West Clayburgh Community Plan. It's located in sub-area 1. Broadly, the plan calls for the protection of the rural heritage area. Proposal meets the goal, preserves open space while making allowances for increased enrollment in elementary high school facilities is also called for by the plan, while identifying areas for sidewalk and gutter improvements, especially in proximity to schools in sub-area 1. So we identified those goals as supporting the proposal and the requested conditions and development plan. This one more time, I think. Yeah, love it. That's where the expansion would be, as it's shown. The other additions in building area and coverings for the drive lane that's adjacent to that. Otherwise, it maintains a lot of the parking areas and building areas as we know that today. So, staff recommendation is approval subject to revised conditions, revised development plan, and revised traffic management.
Thank you, sir. Questions, Commissioners? Commissioner Blair?
Thank you, Mr. Petty. Are you aware that as of last month, the traffic management plan was amended to show a different flow in and out.
To show different in and out, like no.
For the students, if the area for the ninth grade area.
I received your email in regards to it. I did not receive any updates to the TIP or additional TIP.
I can share that with you.
I love that.
And in that, can you go back to your traffic management plan? I can walk you through it, so I can be.
And this reflects, the docket and materials I have had.
Yeah,
Yes.
and, the way that it is currently depicted, the parents are not gonna, no, I want the
Southern.
bottom, the bottom.
Yeah,
The student
pull up.
park is the
Ninth grade.
ninth grade only. 12th grade, the 12th grade is what they're actually doing today. So the parents already do that.
This is a new queuing area.
This is a new queuing area. And were you aware that, based on those conversations last night, the parents will come in, this actual area is severely overparked. Yes, I said it, it's overparked.
The doctor's
Yeah, there.
The lighting didn't strike.
And lightning did not strike me.
This is being recorded.
This is being recorded. This area is severely overparked. They only need 111 parking spaces. They have over 300, so they have 193 vacant spaces in this area. So, with that being said, they're limiting the parking for students. And if you look at going from right to your left, right being 1, next to the moving left is 2, 3, 4, and 5. And where the parents come in, there will be no parking. So that will be a no parking area. It will be 2 lanes. Parents can come in and do 2 lanes like they do in the 10th through the 12th. They will come around and the parents will exit going down in row 2.
Sorry.
And they will go over to on the right side is in only, on the left side is out only. So the parents will go in, come down on the second row, go over to the exit. Will be administration or teacher support to manage traffic. The buses will come in. They will go to the 3rd row. They will go up, go over, and double row because there will be no park. The only place that kids will park is in row 4. That's it. There should be there's enough parking for the kids to all park in that 1 row. And the buses will come in double because there will be nobody. The buses will go back down and go out the exit, and they're on their happy little merry way. The goal is to keep kids and buses apart. The kids will only utilize row 4. The parents.
How students get in buses?
I'm sorry?
How are students loaded on buses?
They're going to, this kids are, I know. As it was originally depicted on the original TMP, there's no change to the way the kids are loaded. So there's no change in loading, just a change in the flow of how they come in, how you separate kids, parents, and buses from each other.
Commissioner Blair, if you have that TMP, can you forward it to Ms. Messina? That way she can forward it to us and to staff?
Absolutely.
That way, there might be questions later at the hearing once we take a peek at that. Please continue.
So The buses come in, just like everything, the buses come in and begin homes. And then they immediately make a left turn, go up the third row, around to the fifth row. They will double.
Is this making sense to you, Commissioner Standard, or?
Yeah, it's making
Okay.
sense to me. I mean, I see.
The rest of us are up here, I mean, I
I mean, I get what
need
you're
to see.
saying. They come in, they go around, first and third are the students, and the buses are second and fourth. and
Periods.
the way that-
The parents come in first,
Yeah.
double row, they go back down to row 2. The kids are parked already in row 4 because they came in the morning. So they're already parked in row 4. The buses will come in, make a left, go up.
Mr. Crowley's listening in, he just sent it, so I'm looking at it.
Okay, they come in, make a left, go up row 3. They will hook around, go to row 5. They will double down, so you'll have 2 buses, you'll have 15 buses. And they will line up by 2, except there will be 3 that are stragglers.
But when they come in, are they in the opposite cars?
Everybody comes in one row. That's the
I got you, but so the cars for the carpool and the buses are in line in the entrance, is what you're saying. One goes kind of right and one turns left.
Everybody comes in that one. That's the thing. Everybody comes in
This way.
one entry point.
Where's Mr. earlier?
Yeah.
Mr. Rubin.
Chair, if we're just getting the TFP now, should we hit pause on this briefing and brief the rest of the stuff and come back?
I think this is, we could do that.
We've got thoroughfare and other stuff.
We did receive it in our email,
Oh,
so
okay.
if you guys wanna take a peek at that, you don't have access here. Why don't we go to this, and we'll come back to this one.
I'm sorry, Michael doesn't have it, I know David reviewed it, I just wanna put it out there, like, staff needs to review this thing. Oh, we don't have it yet.
That's true.
So I'm getting emails, I just haven't gotten.
You ever see that one? Maybe you
Yeah.
can send it to me. Sure. I'll forward it to Ms. Cassini.
At the subdivision packet.
Well, how about if you just continue the briefing and we'll table this one little piece for, I guess, the hearing.
Yeah, so to recap, we got through all the discussion, you led with questions about the TMP. Do we have other questions on other matters?
Any other questions, Commissioners, outside the team? Please, Commissioner Anderson.
I'm just wondering if we are, I mean, I think Seagoville High School is the main high school for Seagoville. And future planning, I'm wondering if that parking is relative to future planning. So I wanted to just kind of put that out there to make sure that, when we look at the TMP and all of that, we take that into consideration.
I didn't understand what it said.
Yeah,
Just the
thanks.
development of that campus, relative to how many parking spaces that they have.
Yes, I see what you mean. So they're going to maintain their lots, based on what I'm hearing, they're going to maintain their lots. Their underutilized parking is bared out in the data at this time. So if they may be either, it sounds like they may be either coning or directing people from not utilizing those spaces. But I think if you're thinking of terms of long-term planning and other future facility uses, they would still be available. This is just part of the TMP at this time, which can be amended if necessary in time.
Commissioner Young.
And if someday the building were to be expanded, that would require an amendment to the PD, is that correct?
So the development plan. TMP.
Well, it would not qualify for a minor amendment if it were too extensive with it.
No, and that would have to vary, and there's a reason that they're here today. They're still they've amended their parking ratio, they're still over parked from that ratio a bit that they.
I guess where I'm headed with this is if there is a future expansion, there will be an opportunity to revisit the adequacy of the parking at that time.
A significant one, so.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
And this was applicant DISD's request to reduce the parking ratio, right? They concur with the reduction?
That's correct. That's correct. It was their proposal initially in order to preserve the parking areas that they have while adding classrooms to make the numbers work and to not have to force additional space to be eaten up by parking. That was their initial proposal. We evaluated it based on the data that's appropriate.
Great, thanks.
Commissioner Blake?
Is it not accurate that they're not increasing their student population in this particular district?
That's my understanding. It should be additional space.
It's just space, not people.
Okay, so hopefully less.
That's it.
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay, well, now we go on to our therapy plan amendments. Thank you very much, Mr. Pepe. Smith, good morning.
Thank you for moving me up.
It's gonna take an hour break at the same time.
Oh, well, if we needed, what was 2 hours? I'm quick. This is amazing. I need to turn on my screen, Andrea. Andrea, I have to turn on my screen, my video, because I'm here. Put it off, so it doesn't take off. No, it's everything to see. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, you can see. You can see me, maybe sure. Okay, so our first amendment is an application from Centurion American Development. The property owner is on the east side of Harvard Street between Jackson Street and Harvard Street, and have requested an amendment to the City of Dallas Central Business District Streets and Vehicular Circulation Plan, or the CBD plan for short, to change the Harwood Street between Jackson Street and Commerce Street from a 64-foot right-of-way and 44 feet of pavement to 58 feet of right-of-way and 40 feet of pavement. Staff is also requesting an update to the right-of-way and pavement, the existing right-of-way and pavement descriptions to reflect the existing conditions. The proposed reduction of the right-of-way would accommodate the proposed mixed-use development on the east side of Harwood Street. This development is proposing to consist of approximately 250 apartments, 7,000 square feet of ground floor retail space, and over 700 parking spaces for the historic library building, now the Dallas Morning News office, the new Harwood Park, and the surrounding retail and civic uses. So just looking through, it's been a long time, so we like to drive through the corridor. So this would be looking northbound on Harwood Street, just south of Jackson Street. So what we're talking about is the applicant is the parking garage on the right side of your screen. Now this is looking at the same location, but backwards. So we're looking southbound at Harwood Street, just north of Jackson Street. You can see on the bottom left-hand corner, kind of right in this area right here, there is the terrazzo that these are located strategically around downtown, and they are proposing to maintain that with their developments. This would be looking more at the existing facilities in mid-block. So we're looking northbound at Harwood Street. And what does this all mean? So we have 2 different amendments in this area. We're not going to focus on the proposed operations right here for this amendment, okay?
We are only looking at the red here. So what does the table mean? All of my plans have a table that provide all of the detailed information in it. So in this particular amendment, we have the existing table configuration. So that's 50 feet of right of way, 44 feet of pavement is what it says is the existing facility. The proposed facility is 64 feet and 44 feet of pavement. So that's what I have on the plan right now. What we want to change it to is the 54 and the 40, and then the 58 and the 40. And then once I get the additional 54 feet, or the additional 4 feet, I'll update the existing pavement to that 54 feet. So, why are we not looking? Just a second, guys, sorry about that. Okay, so, because what we're also dealing with is roadway cross sections, what I wanted to do was kind of just walk through, you guys have it in the fact sheet, but I like to walk it through so we understand what we're really looking at. The existing designation is this top one. And this existing designation shows you that I'm supposed to have 4 11-foot lanes and 64 feet of right of way. However, our existing operation, and please remember, we're not talking about lane configuration, but the existing operation is 2 lanes, 1 lane northbound, 1 lane southbound with bicycle lanes. And I only have about 5 feet of sidewalk on either side of the roadway, so we only have the 50 feet. What the proposed designation is, and again, we're looking at right of way and parkway right now, just to kind of specify what we're really changing on this amendment, is the 58 feet of right of way. And then we're hoping for 9 feet of parkway on either side. This section of Harwood currently exists as a 54 foot right of way with a 27 foot center line. So that's 27 feet on either side of the existing center line, and 40 feet of pavement. The proposed would change and would modify the plan to 58 feet of right of way. This would be 29 feet of right of way on either side of the established center line, and the existing 40 feet of pavement curb to curb. This application is not proposing to change the lane configuration. That will be done on a separate amendment to include the bicycles. Under the proposed amendment, there would be 9 feet of parkway on either side of the roadway in the public right of way. And the developer is proposing to allocate an additional 3 feet of space on their property for a total of 12 feet of pedestrian space. The developer is also proposing to provide additional pedestrian enhancements such as street trees, awnings over a portion of the sidewalk, and provide additional shade. They will be doing enhanced paving and pedestrian lighting, and they're also trying to protect, or they will be protecting the existing terrazzo art panel on the corner of Harwood and Jackson Street. Staff recommends approval, and City Plan Commission Thoroughfare Committee recommends approval.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Treyway.
This is my first one. Can you, on this thoroughfare amendment, so can you go back to your previous slide?
Yep.
So why is the existing operation not matching the existing designation?
We're gonna talk about that in the next one.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really confused.
No, we're just talking about right of way here.
What is right of way?
Right of way is what the city owns between property line to property line. So that would be in like a residential area. That would be your sidewalk, the parkway, they have the grass strip, and then the roadway, and then the same thing on the other side of the roadway. So we have that in downtown streets also.
But how, I guess my confusion is, what is it really, like, are they carving back where stuff currently is built if it doesn't match what was supposed to be designated? Like,
for setback requirements, it gets kind of into all of the other zoning stuff too, with your setbacks, your building line, all of those things. But I don't talk about any of that. What I'm talking about is just what the city owns and what the city is allocated.
So if you go back to the previous slide, so the city currently owns 54 as a right of way, and the proposed is that the city's gonna own 58?
Correct.
Okay, and so.
Well, not, we are going to request. So this is the long-range plan for the roadways.
But do they not currently own 64?
No, ma'am. That's the existing designation.
That's the plan.
That's what the plan says we should have.
Okay, so should versus
Should.
reality.
Correct.
Okay, I'm with you now. So existing designation was aspirational. Existing operation is reality,
Correct.
but I thought you just said that the reality was 54. That was 50.
Well, they're dealing with all of their platting, and until we definitely have that extra 4 feet based on the approved plat, I can't say that I have 54 feet.
So does the city not get to require a certain right of way?
That's what this does.
But I just heard you say it was aspirational, not required.
Well, so we are a libertarian plan. If you don't like it, we get to change it. And through this application process is that changing process. So when the developer built and constructed their proposed building, we needed, 64 divided by 2. That's not what ended up happening, due to circumstances. And now they're saying we can give you 4 feet. So that would be the 58.
And where city is good with 58,
The city is okay with 58.
even though you wanted 64.
The city
Once
is
upon a time.
okay today with 58.
Okay, so,
I mean, it's only, we're talking about.
cars aren't getting, well, I guess some cars get small. So in the proposed designation, the 58 right of way, you said, I get that the midline is 29 on each side. So of that 29 on each side, 9 is gonna be for pedestrian walking, is that correct? Okay, and of that 9, what is the developer proposing to do?
They'll be giving 3 more.
So, okay,
But that's on private property.
hold on. So you're really getting 58 plus 6. Because the developer's giving you back 3 on each side.
No,
No.
developers only on one side.
Okay, that's why I like math, like work. So plus 3 on one side. So you're gonna have 9 on one side for pedestrian and 12 on one side. And on the 12 side is where that 3 is going?
Yes.
And what else did they propose to do on that side?
They're enhancing the pedestrian realm, so they'll be putting an awning in some of their facility. So you'll probably see that eventually. And then the enhanced pavers.
Okay, and the pavers stay. This is where the pavers are?
The terrazzo,
Yeah.
that is not part of their enhanced pavements. That is existing.
Is that on the side they're giving 3 or the other side?
That's on the side that they're giving 3, but it's in our right of way. That was installed by Downtown Dallas Inc. years ago.
Okay. I think I'm good for now. I still don't understand why the city can't just require what they need for right of way, but that's probably a different question.
I would be happy to sit with you and explain the thoroughfare plan.
Yeah, no, this is my first thoroughfare amendment, so that's a different discussion.
We need to sit down and.
Yeah, it's not easy, it's not intuitive.
They do it with all of us, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a great hour of your time.
Under state
Yeah.
law, the city can only require what is attributable to the developer.
Major.
Yeah,
So you can't say, I want to build a freeway here and you need to, give them 50 feet to build that freeway. Unless the development causes the need for freeway.
my head is just seeing a really confusing grid. that
Wait
doesn't
till
look like
you see the next one. But, I mean, you don't see me very often, and that's why it's harder, these are as needed, as required, again, it's a living document, so.
We can set up a separate time to check it. This is my first go round, which is why.
And we have these committee meetings.
This is really helpful, by the way. I loved this.
I try to keep it I do a lot of public meetings too, so I try to keep it as general as I possibly can, so we can all talk about it and understand kind of what we're seeing. So these are purely illustrative.
Oh, I get that.
Because that might not be, that could be an elm versus an oak. I don't know. That's, somebody else gets to deal with that.
just, and I have limitations, either that or like pine tree. I'm not putting a pine tree in downtown, that'd be ridiculous, but, okay. So staff recommends approval and city waivers. Any other questions?
Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm wondering what happens to those bike lanes that we see, and what kind of action happened that made them come to being, and are we eliminating the bike lanes at that section, or rerouting them, or what happened?
We will discuss that at a later amendment in just a second in the next briefing. Just
Okay.
right away, is all we're looking for.
Now, is it correct to assume that the developer is responsible for the right-of-way up to the center of the right-of-way? And then from that point, you're responsible for that side of traffic and then also where it encroaches onto your property? I'm wondering, in that light, could we require bioswales and things like that that kind of also enhance the pedestrian experience?
No, sir, that is not part of this amendment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hefton.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, just one question. Was this reviewed? I believe this is part of the Harwood Historic District overlay. Has this been reviewed by OHP? Are there any considerations related to that overlay? And that may be actually for the next request because that's the larger area, but wanted to just ask.
I apologize, what lane are so this is only the amendment for the right. The building has been, all of that is associated with the overlays and the historic, all of your zoning stuff.
So many of our older historic overlays reference that right-of-way is also a consideration. So I'm happy to follow up on that, but thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions, Commissioners, before we move on? Okay, let's go on to the next one, please.
Perfect. Okay, so this one is an application to this city, this was an application from the City of Dallas Department of Transportation. We are requesting an amendment to the City of Dallas Central Business District Streets and Vehicular Circulation Plan to change the operation of Harwood between Interstate 30 and Main Street from a 2-lane southbound, 2-lane northbound, and center turn lane to a 1-lane southbound, 1-lane northbound, and directional bicycle lanes. This project was launched in 2020 through a partnership between the City of Dallas Department of Transportation and the Better Block Foundation and Downtown Dallas, Inc. The intent of this project was to add bicycle infrastructure along Harwood Street corridor between Dallas Heritage Village and Main Street Gardens. This 2020 effort created a dedicated directional bicycle lanes, which provide a safe and efficient facility for people to travel on bicycles and scooters. Harwood was not amended in 2020 because it was a demonstration project. Since then, it has been determined that the bicycle lanes have not impacted the flow of traffic and should be adopted into the plan. So looking at this corridor, we're going to start on the 30 side, and now we're looking northbound on Harwood Street, just south of I-30, and you can see the bicycle lanes right here and across the bridge. So Heritage Village would be on the right side of your street, on the right side of the slide. Sorry about that. Now we're going to drive through, this would be Farmers Market, and you can see that we do have floating parking right here on the right side of your street with a dedicated bicycle facility. And we're continuing, and so this is Main Street Gardens on the left north side of the street. We were requested and let's committee to provide traffic count. So this was not included in your fact sheet. I do apologize. The traffic counts, we consider 2019 still current year because it's pre-COVID.
So we are currently, I mean, just as a FYI, we are starting to have more people coming back, so we will be doing updated traffic counts. However, those are not documented and widely available yet. So 2019 is current year, yes, ma'am.
Is that last date supposed to be August 2022?
No, ma'am, it's 2002. So I pulled some of the more historic, just to show that it really has not changed over the years, even with all of the development in the farmers market district. Now, a 2-lane undivided roadway that is a minor arterial, which all roads on the central business district streets and vehicular circulation plan in the downtown area are considered minor arterials. So that can hold up to 5,000 to 10,000 vehicles per day, just to understand what we're talking about.
And 2-lane is 1 and 1.
Correct. So again, I want to show what are we actually changing. So I took out all of the right of way here, because we're not talking on this particular amendment, any of the right of way, or, like we were on the last amendment. This one, we're only talking about this operational change. So we're going from 2 lanes to 1 lanes with the bicycle facility.
What does CTL stand for?
Center turn lane. So looking at what is, again, I want to show you what these look like, and looking at the right-of-way cross sections. What the designation proposes is these 4-lane cross sections. The second one here is the center turn lane. The existing operation is the 2 lanes with the bicycle facilities. So what are we proposing? We are proposing the 2 lanes with the bicycle facilities. I am not specifying any of the parking on this particular amendment. However, if we do have space, we can add in the parking. That gets into the design. This body does not deal with design. We are just doing the basic operation. Yes, ma'am.
Try to wait, please.
Okay, so stay on this one if you could for just a second. I thought we only got 58 for proposed right-of-way. So why are we looking at a minimum of 64?
We're not looking at right-of-way for this particular amendment. So the existing plan, I can't cross-pollinate the 2 together. We have to look at one would be giving us the 58. However, on the plan today, so if I wasn't doing the other amendments, it would be 64 feet would be my limit.
Yeah, I'm not following. So
Don't look at the right of way. Don't look at this number right here. We're just talking about the operation in this amendment.
But you have to understand how much space you have in order to know if you have space for the bike lanes.
Correct.
So I can't ignore.
So if you notice on this particular slide, I do not have sidewalk numbers, because that's where the fluctuation actually occurs in the right. Some locations, like I'm not supposed to cross-pollinate these 2 amendments. So I have to look at what the plan says today for this amendment. And the plan says today, I have a proposed 64 feet as the smallest right-of-way on the plan.
Yeah, I don't get it.
But operationally, you have on this, the operation, not the right of way.
Correct.
40 feet total. You have the bicycle lanes, the 2 10-foot, 10, 10, 10, 10. So regardless of what that ROW right of way is going to be, all we're talking about is what exists today, the bicycle lanes. You said it was before a demonstration to see if it would work, and now we are basically codifying that it is working. And so what exists today, we are making an amendment about to make it part of the plan. So the right of way part on this point doesn't matter because we're only dealing with the 40 feet for your operation.
And if I could interject, the previous case was 1 block. And this case is a quarter mile.
Correct. I do have one question after I made my statement. Okay, my one question is, and even though I'm on this committee, is this, and I forgot to ask this before, but you are totally okay with, because it's been working obviously with eliminating any turn lanes, correct?
Operation, we still do have some turn lanes.
Okay. But basically, this is
the core.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Young?
Where does, what is the status of Harwood north of Main?
Currently, it does not have the bicycle facilities, however, we are proposing, and it is on the 360 plan, which downtown Dallas supports, to have additional bicycle facilities that connect from Main Street Garden all the way to Playground Park.
And that would suggest eventual extension of the 1-in-1 lane north of Main?
I can't specify that as today because we have not designed it.
Okay. Let's focus for a second on the block between Commerce and Main, that is with the park on one side and the municipal court on the other side. Is that currently 1-in-1 plus bicycle lanes?
Yes,
Okay, and that's not causing any throughput issues for vehicles at afternoon rush hour?
no.
Okay, I'm surprised.
I mean, it's a pedestrian corridor. And on our pedestrian corridors, we do anticipate a person sitting in an air conditioned, theoretically, air conditioning or being in the car, sitting in an enclosed vehicle might have to wait a little longer to allow for pedestrians and cyclists, people that are not in that enclosed vehicle, more a safer corridor to traverse.
So I appreciate that value judgment, but my question was about the impact on vehicular traffic. Is the vehicular traffic heading east on Commerce and going northbound adequately served by, I guess it'd be Cesar Chavez and Good Latimer?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Kingston, followed by Commissioner Anderson.
So if we really wanted to reimagine downtown, Harwood could be a place that we could shut vehicular traffic altogether and turn it into a bicycle, scooter, linear park from Clyde Warren to the farmer's market.
I love where you're going with that. However,
I know it's not on the table today, just thinking out loud.
well, think out loud on some other corridors, because we might have some of those ideas coming through.
Okay.
Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So is it fair to say, that the image that you showed previously that showed proposing the designation is just doing just that, proposing what that right-of-way designation would be, irrespective of the developers that would come and propose what they would like to, I guess, actually install within that designation? Does that make sense?
I think I'm following you. The thoroughfare plan, so the Central Business District Streets and Vehicular Circulation Plan regulates how the roadways in the CBD can operate. So a developer would have to come and justify the reasoning for a change in the operation, and they would have to submit an application, which we would have to then evaluate.
Right, but
developers
similar
don't
to
have-
the previous, like the previous case was, the proposed designation is supposed to be 64, but conditions allowed it to be down to 50 or 58. But the proposed designation was the 64, and I'm thinking that that's what we're setting is the proposed designation, but that doesn't necessarily mean that once development comes in, they won't try to propose to move it as the previous developer is proposing.
So, okay, so we need to clarify, and I think I will need to do some sort of a presentation to explain all the plan stuff. Designation is operation. Right of way is what the developer on the prior case was asking to change. And that would modify the sidewalk pedestrian zone. Not the operation designation of the vehicular lanes, of the roadway, the street.
Okay, I think I understand, but I'll just follow the rest of the comments. So thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Trevor, please.
So you could have a different right of way for each street that then connects through this larger quarter block area, quarter mile area.
Correct.
So I just did the math on the top one, and it actually, even though it doesn't say in the right of way, it actually does match up exactly. It's 20, it could be 9, 20, 20, and 9, which gets you to the 58. So there'd be no space for parking. But then the next block, if they had a larger right of way, you could have this floating parking that came in. So it could differ by block.
Correct. So the difference, you guys will see this right now. We're only, these three amendments that I'm proposing today are only in the central business district. So when we get to the thoroughfare plan, our corridors are a lot longer. I have to think about we think about them a little different. In the central business district, when you're looking at this particular table, and just because it has so many line items on it, I have to go block by block. I mean, think about like Commerce Street when you're driving down Commerce and there's indented parking. I mean, we're not talking about Commerce, we're talking about this particular harbor. But when you're going down Commerce, there's indented parking, or sometimes there's just a really light sidewalk. So the lane configurations change. I have a lot more modifications because it is slower traffic in the CBD.
Okay, I'm following you. Thank you.
You? Any other questions, Commissioners?
Real quick question.
Please.
So one southbound lane, and this is kind of agreeing with Kingston, and could we actually create a linear park or something, or would this be the beginnings of that? But would this be something that we could actually propose to remove that vehicular, because it's just one lane in one direction, and it seems that would be interfering with the pedestrians or the multimodal riders, as opposed to favoring the car. So I just wanted to put that out there, that if there was an opportunity to do a linear park, where would it come? Where would that opportunity come from?
I think at this current time, we would need to study a lot more and coordinate, especially with our partner at Downtown Dallas Inc., who speaks basically for, as the PD or whatever their zoning, sorry, it's not my role, whatever their zoning rule is. But as the, we would really need to speak with them. So there are other corridors, but the one lane in either direction, we do have a lot of development on Harwood, and fire would need access. So the one lane in either direction is providing ample amount of access to the adjacent property owners that are fronting Harwood. So the Harwood, turning it into a bicycle plaza, or removing vehicular access, that's a bigger conversation, and I would love to have that with you guys at a later time. However, today, this is the amendment in which the application in which we're presenting.
Thank you for that. Looking forward to that. Any other questions, Commissioners? Okay.
So our third amendment. Okay.
Yes, sir. Oh, that's correct. Commissioner Young has a conflict on this item and is stepping out of the meeting room. 28, the last place. Okay, sound good.
So our third central business district, streets and vehicular circulation plan amendment is an application from the Santa Fe Hotel LP property. They're on the south side of Wood Street or just west of Field Street. And they are requesting a change to Wood Street between Griffin Street and Field Street from 80 feet of right of way to 36 feet of pavement to 60 feet of right of way and 36 feet of pavement. Staff is also requesting to update the existing right of way and pavement descriptions to reflect the existing conditions. The proposed reduction of the right of way would be to accommodate the proposed residential development and the applicant's property. They are proposing to replace the existing 314 surface parking lot with a phased 641 unit high-rise residential development. So this is kind of, I wanted to give kind of a wonky, that's a technical term, not really. Image, just so you can kind of see, this is a T intersection, which means that Wood Street dead ends into Griffin Street at this particular location. So we're looking northbound on Griffin at Wood Street. Then we're going to take a right-hand turn here, and we're going to look eastbound on Wood Street. So east is towards Sea Bellum, just so everybody's understanding which direction we're looking. On Wood Street, north of Griffin Street, you can see that it's a 2-lane undivided roadway with a center turn lane for the turning lane right here. And then this photo would be looking eastbound also on Wood Street, just south of Field Street. The proposed development is this parking lot right here on the right side of your screen. So again, we're going to look back at these tables because this is the meat of both of my plans, but this particular plan. So what we're going to be changing, right now, the existing right of way on this plan is 80 feet of right of way. So even the proposed 80 feet of right of way. So that's what the plan is saying with a 41 to 36 foot pavement. We have already constructed this roadway. And so it is currently 1 lane westbound, 1 lane eastbound. However, the existing right of way, because the developer has already dedicated the property, and I have it on a survey, is 55 feet with 36 feet of pavement. So that's the existing what's out there today. They are proposing a 60 foot, that makes it balanced, with the 36 feet of pavement. So in the future, the north side of the roadway would be dedicating that extra 5 feet as development occurs.
And this developer's on the south side.
So again, looking at what this right of way going through these cross sections would look like. 80 feet of right of way for a very small pavement would look like this. And what I did here was I tried to center, because the pavement is not changing here. So I tried to center the pavement here so you can kind of see how this right of way is fluctuating. The existing operation, you can see in 50 feet of right of way. So I didn't do the 55, I just did the 50 because that's prior to the dedication on the south side. It's pretty small. And if you guys have ever walked, I used to be a runner pre-COVID time, and when you would run out here, you would run in the street because of all of the obstacles in the parkway. So the enhancement would be this 12 feet. So that gets pedestrians unobstructed sidewalk. It's also in the pedestrian overlay, so this also would meet and comply with that. This section of Wood Street currently exists as a varying right-of-way, with most of the section either 50 feet of right-of-way with 36 feet of pavement or 69 feet of right-of-way with 37 feet of pavement. The latter is at the intersection of Wood and Griffin Streets. The proposed change would modify the plan to 60 feet of right-of-way. This would be 30 feet of right-of-way on either side of the established center line, and the existing 36 feet of pavement curb to curb. Under the proposed amendment, there would be 12 feet of parkway on either side of the roadway in the public right-of-way. And the developer is proposing to allocate an additional 2 to 3 feet of space on their property for a total of 14 to 15 feet of pedestrian space on the south side of the roadway. Staff is recommending approval, and City Plan Commission Thoroughfare Committee is also recommending approval.
Thank you very much. Questions on this one? Commissioner Rubin?
Just a quick question. I used to know this stuff much better when I was in the Thoroughfare Plan Committee. We simply designate parkway. We don't designate sidewalk versus planting area or anything like that in this thoroughfare.
Correct.
Okay, great, thanks.
Commissioner Trevor?
Just on the bottom one, does it say 18 under the car?
It does.
Okay.
All of these, slides, except for the drive-through, are gonna be the fact sheets in your packet.
So just one follow-up question. So we're adding 5 feet to the north side, but until that developer comes in and agrees to it, it's not a done deal?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? Great. Thank you very much, Ms. Sue.
Thank you, Dennis.
Commissioners, that concludes our briefing. Are there any other questions before we go for lunch? Okay, it is 10:51 a.m. Commissioners, that concludes our briefing. Enjoy your long lunch. We'll see you back at the hearing at 12:30.